Hello, friends. My name is Tatiana Zubova, and I'm glad to welcome you to today's lesson. Well, before we begin, I want to say that I've missed you a lot because we haven't seen each other in quite a while and haven't painted something interesting together on our channel. So let's renew this tradition. And today we're going to make an incredible, intriguing, and gorgeous frosty subject. Well, it's winter now, so this topic is very relevant. And today we're going to produce a winter landscape. And let's support each other. Please like this video, share it with your friends, repost it via WhatsApp, Viber, whatever you use. Post it to social networks. I believe this video is very interesting and very engaging. And most importantly, I think that it's simple and the result is impressive. So let me tell you what we're doing today and what materials we're using. First of all, my canvas is 30 to 40 centimeters. This is a standard linen canvas. We can take a cotton canvas or some other type, just pick whatever you like and paint this subject with me. Now let's talk about the paints. I'm gonna use oil paints and you can see a very restrained color palette. We will make the whole painting with the help of 5 colors and titanium white. It may be hard to believe, but it's true. We take base colors and create a beautiful, picturesque subject with a sumptuous abundance of various colors, and it will be extremely easy for us. So even the very beginners, artists who are not very good at mixing paints and making compound colors, will be capable of producing this subject. It's very simple, and at the same time, it will be extremely beautiful. So what paints are we using today? We have titanium white. This paint is a must. Take a look. The main colors are yellow, red, blue, and brown. I've got cadmium yellow medium, then Madder Lake Rose permanent, 2 blue paints. This is phthalocyan in blue, plus ultramarine, and brown, burnt umber. You can change them to your liking, but the point is the same. Yellow, red, blue, plus brown. And of course, don't forget that the colors of your painting will depend on the shades used for it. That's why try using interesting color combinations, so that the paints match with each other well. For example, you can take a cool red, just like me. It's a shade of rose. You can pick any Madder Lake instead, carmine, something similar to this rose. We should take any warm yellow, yellow medium, or yellow deep will do. You can take any blue and any brown. Here is some medium, odorless turpentine. Of course, I've got a big heap of tissues. We're going to wipe our brushes, paint and knives in the meantime, and keep our working space clean. And of course, we need our painted knife to blend paints. This is a standard diamond-shaped knife. I'll take a relatively small bristle brush, which is round. I load it with our pink paint to make a preliminary drawing. First of all, we'll determine the middle of our canvas. Let's double check it. 1 and 2. Let's see. Below it's a bit lower than the middle, and that's what we need. I'll make such a horizontal line. We don't have to make it straight. We can even make it slightly oblique here and there. Then we'll determine the middle of this half. And this place will be rather prominent, as our river bank will be positioned here. We'll depict a beautiful, frozen part of a river, and we'll create an illusion of an icy surface. Look at the way we're going to do it. First, we'll find the middle vertically. 1 and 2. This is the middle, and a half of this half, a quarter. 1 and it's too much. 1 and 2. That's more like it. Now, somewhere here, we'll show how one direction of one plane changes into another. Here are such snowbanks emerging. We'll have an interesting riverbank here. And in the foreground, there is another plane of the immediate riverbank. We'll place it here, up to this quarter. 1, 2, 3. We'll have 3/4. Now we'll have another riverbank on the right side. We'll make them cross each other. The point is that we're making a triangle. Here is 1, 2, and here's the third triangle, a very elongated one. Next, the background will be made up of a few planes too. And we've got such a simple drawing. Now let's mark our trees. We'll place a not very tall forest here. Somewhere here we'll have a whole row of trees in the background. Here the trees will be rather massive. You can even refer to some line segments which are already on the canvas. Take a look. Here is a quarter. That's where we'll place the trees in the foreground. You can even leave a mark somewhere here. Here is the background of this forest. And somewhere from this quarter, we're placing other taller trees. The drawing, as you can see, is pretty simple. Also, we'll place some shrubs. So we've got a triangle here, and we'll define such a plane as its extension. A shrub will be here. It will be very beautiful and prominent. And somewhere here we'll place more shrubs. And that's all. The drawing is very simple. There is nothing difficult. Anyone can do it. And if you've done it, then you can say that 20 or 30% of your work is already done. That's how simple our painting will be today. But let me assure you that despite this fact, the result will be fantastic. Now we're going to take a bristle brush, for example this one, or a bigger one, whichever one you like. Just pick something that is comfortable for you and most importantly, suitable for the size of our canvas. If your canvas is large, then you need a bigger brush. I'll dip my brush into the medium. And I'm transferring this whole piece of white paint over here. Titanium white with a small amount of the medium. Then blue. Tiny bit of it. Just a dash of blue. And a drop of ultramarine. We're leaning towards blue. We're beginning to define the sky. Look at this beautiful opaque shade of light blue. It's very sumptuous. Make sure your paint does not thin down too much. Dry paint is the key to success for winter landscapes. If you're painting alla prima in one sitting, then you should use dry paint. If you're not limited in time and can wait till the first paint coating is dry and then layer it over with the next paint coating, then of course the first layer can be more liquid. This problem is irrelevant if you're using fast-drying paints, acrylic for example, or gouache. When we're using oil paints, we should stick to this rule. Great! Now we can add pink paint. Titanium white together with pink, and with the blue that's already there. I'm spreading more violet shades. And we're moving lower. We can already see this active violet. We're making this mixture lighter. I'll take white paint. And this is how I'm spreading these shades of pink. Now with the same shades of pink, we can cover some lit snowy parts. I'm doing it like this, with rather broad strokes. I'll cover it all like this. Light bluer shades will be in the background. A bit lighter. It's very important not to overdo it with saturation. The whole painting will come out subtle, very pleasant, light and frosty. If we make it too saturated, then it may spoil the whole subject. That's why please do your best to stick to this very dull color range. And don't lean towards too much saturation. It will be difficult to do with blue paints, especially with phthalo cyan blue, because the paint is pigmented, vibrant. That's why we'll have to take a tiny bit of it. If you've already noticed a flashy blue in your painting, then rinse out your brush right away and make another very dull and subtle blue. Just take a tiny drop of blue. We don't usually get any problems with ultramarine, but it can get really tricky with phthalo blue. We can already apply some darkness in the foreground. That's why I'll apply shades of blue, more vibrant and darker ones. Now, after having created this foundation, we can already switch to darker shades. I'll take another brush. This brush is smaller. I'm making an extremely dark mixture: phthalo blue, brown, madder lake, and we get a very black shade. We'll make it slightly bluer. I'll add 2 blue paints. And with a thin layer, keyword here is thin, I'm covering these areas with it. I'm gradually transitioning to a bluer color. I'll add a drop of madder lake and I can cover these areas with dark shades. I can take more brown shades and we're gradually covering all the rest of them with such violets. In fact, at this point we don't need such darkness, so we'll add titanium white. We know that titanium white absorbs all the dark paint very fast and transforms it into very light shades. I'm applying horizontal strokes here in the water. And I'm filling everything in very fast. I'll gather almost everything from the palette. to fit in our river. Excellent. Now with my first brush, the one we were using before, I'll add pleasant shades of a pinkish color with a hint of violet onto this area. I'm laying it down more opaquely. And I'm gradually joining everything together. Also, we can already lay down beautiful, vibrant shades of light blue. With a drop of dark paint to reduce the intensity of the color. I'm filling in the foundation of the distant forest. The shades are gradually becoming lighter and lighter. I'm doing it very delicately. I'm laying down the foundation by gradually making the shades more violet. I'll add red for this purpose. I'll wipe my brush. With the same pleasant light blue, I'm covering this part of the water. I'll lay down horizontal strokes as well. And here's our underpainting. We've done it rather fast, but the most important thing is that a division has emerged, and it's clear where what plane is positioned, what objects are present here. The lightest parts are, of course, the sky, a very well lit snow, which is also rather light. As you can see, these verticals are dark, and the river is obviously darker. And that's what we're going to work with. This is our base. We have to make our painting look this way at this point to continue our work in a very comfortable way, fast and easy. Let me replenish the supply of titanium white. Now we can take a softer brush. I'll take this synthetic brush. It's very pleasant and soft. When you touch it like this, it's truly soft. I load my brush with white paint. We can even spread a piece of titanium white over here, in the center of the palette. I'll take a drop of yellow paint. And a drop of pink. I'll blend these beautiful shades of a warm, yellowish color into the canvas. So we'll get a very subtle, beautiful, pure color transition. Yellow is even more vibrant. We can even blend pink into it to get a more orange shade. Please pay attention that I'm not using any medium at all. And with this rather vibrant color, I'm highlighting beautiful yellow clouds. I'll wipe my brush. I can dip my brush into the thinner and then remove all the paint with the help of a tissue. I'll take more white paint and a drop of yellow. And with very light paint, I'll blend this lighter yellow here. With a drop of pink paint. I'm moving this way. Pink and even slightly violet. We're moving this way over the clouds. And I'm gradually joining everything with beautiful, subtle shades of light blue. I'm dissolving them all very delicately. Apart from that, I can take a soft, delicate brush. Right now, I'm holding this goat brush, and I'm blending everything very smoothly. Let the softest transitions remain. And where we have rough spots, we can smooth them out. And we can remove these fibers too. Now it's time to get down to the trees. I'll be using this brush, bristle one. And let's see what we're about to do. We'll take titanium white, pink, a dash of blue, and I'll cover the tops with the most subtle shades. They're very inconspicuous, dull, pinkish. We can leave some traces from the bristles on the canvas. I'll wipe my brush. I load my brush with these subtle shades of pink again. And this is how I'll highlight the most lit parts. Take a look. The areas are almost inconspicuous. They're very frosty. I'm pressing my brush very delicately, very gently. After that, we can go over these areas. Look at these beautiful shades of violet. How contrasting they seem against this yellow sky. The most important thing is that they look very harmonious here. Look at the way I'm holding my brush, like this, as if we're writing with a pen. Horizontally, like this. I'm touching the canvas very slightly. Blue tops will be here and there. I'll add such pinks again, right onto the tops. Look, we're creating such pink outlines. The point is that this whole part will be dark, rather cool, and we're making such caps above. And we can create a turbid effect in the distance. I'll do the same in these areas. Look at the way I'm wiggling my brush over the canvas. We're leaving spontaneous strokes. I'll wipe my brush. I'm removing all the remaining gaps. And we can deepen the base to some degree here and there. After that, we have to switch to a relatively small brush, which is rather soft. I'll take a synthetic brush, a mongoose imitation. You can pick any synthetic brush you like. I'll take this pinkish shade. We can even add a bit more pink. And I'm going over the edges of the trees. I'm highlighting all the reliefs of the tree crown. We can even darken some parts. We're making the foliage denser. You can do it while squinting, because it will be easier and more convenient to spot all the things emerging on the canvas. Let's lay down a pink foundation for a beautiful shrub. Very interesting shrub. Pink, a bit of yellow, some white to reveal the shade. And we can even add a drop of brown paint to make this pink a bit warmer. Look how beautiful this base is. The underpainting is very vivid. Now, I'll rinse out this pink shade. We don't need it at this point. I'm wiping it thoroughly. And we can add bluer shades, such frosty ones. If you want to understand the logic of snow depiction better, don't forget to check out A Course on Snow. It's the most relevant course this year, so feel free to join it. It has an express format, and I think it's a great constructor course where we cover lots of different themes, and then we can assemble them as puzzles, as puzzle pieces, and paint our own subjects. We'll be discussing everything more thoroughly there. Look at this shadow I'm adding right now. This left side of the shrub will have a beautiful shadow. Let's also add some interesting irregularities in the foreground. We'll add variety here. And here too. I'll make the snow more varied. Let's take this brush for blending, and we'll slightly smooth out these tree crowns, so that these areas look more subtle, more fit. This way we're creating a very beautiful illusion of the background. Now I'm blending the left side a little bit. And we can go over the background too. Just a little bit. We're not pressing the brush at all. We're doing it very delicately. We're just giving it an illusion of slight airiness. Now I'll take a thin brush, a bit of medium, brown paint together with this black mixture. And I'm about to emphasize their tree trunks. I'll make a few tree trunks, like this. And I'll place a couple of tree trunks here. On the left side, bluer ones. I'm applying such bluish shades. Now I'll take blue plus pink, and I'll add some branches in the background. Try not to make them too contrasting. After that, I'll take another brush for lighter shades. You know, we can do it in the following way. I'll apply more dark shades. I'm doing it like this. We're placing a few more trunks. Now I'll take a thin brush to layer over the dark ones on the canvas with lighter shades. We can place some light trunks in the background, covered with snow. And we're not doing it everywhere. We can even remove this one a little bit. I'll add such very light snowy branches. We're doing it all very easily. And after that, we can load our brush with absolutely dark ones for the middle ground. We definitely need some medium at this point. We need brown paint. And this is how some trees in the middle ground are emerging. Let's direct another branch aside. Now we're switching to light paint. This is how I'm defining some snow. We're not doing it all over, just selectively, especially over horizontal parts, because snow can actually cover the trees very thickly. Now I'll take my extremely thin brush. I load it with lighter shades, even bluish ones, and we can attach the thinnest branches to the tree, such ones. Look, I'm painting like this, by directing the branches in different directions. In one, in another. We can even use such pinkish shades. We'll place a lot of diverse twigs to add a beautiful variety here. We can also add such twigs here. And now everything looks much more decorated. Excellent. We're moving on. With this brush, which is rather stiff, the one we were using, we can continue with it, or take another one with longer hairs. Something like this. A linear brush. What are we gonna do now? We'll dip it into the medium, titanium white, even though it's not pure white, but a grayish bluish mixture. Something even with a yellowish hint, something more vibrant. Look at the way we're gonna work right now. Here are such drops, which are absolutely not uniform. Some dots are emerging on the shrub. Everything is pretty diverse. It will be very nice to use such stiff brushes. Take a look. First, I'll take blue shades, probably even blue-violet ones. We definitely need some medium. And I'll add something beautiful here. Something very irregular, uneven. I'm gradually adding blue paint. I'll take more medium. And I'll cover it all with snow randomly. Now I'm showing you a very interesting technique. You can create the snow with other brushes too. And you'll get some other effect from them. But this technique is also very interesting, so just give it a try. Here are such blue ones. By the way, if we use extremely thin brushes, then we can get more variety. I'll even look for them now to show them to you. This brush is even thinner. It literally has a couple of hairs. And we can make fantastic snowy messes with it. If your brush is too long, then it will look even more interesting. In this case, it's highly important that our underpainting is almost dry. If you want these details to look sonorous, then the underpainting has to be semi-dry. That's why we have to use the medium on the very first layers. This way we can get a beautiful snowy pattern when snow freezes, exactly freezes on tree branches, and such snowy coverage emerges. And looks amazing. The snow is very rough. There are blue here. We can add some variety here. We're just wiggling our brush around and it's doing everything for us. Here are such deeper blue ones. At the base we have dark blue. And in the dark, we'll have lighter white and even yellow ones in the lit areas. Such yellowish shades. We have to use some medium. Our paint must be liquid, and our brush has to be very thin. If you've joined us now, don't forget to like this video. It'll take just a second for you, but for us it's very useful, and YouTube will see that this video is interesting and it will recommend it to other people too. Sharing helps a lot too to expand the reach and views in general, so if you enjoy our videos, please support us. Now, in the background, we can add such bluish, dull shades. There are very harmonious layers of snow. I'm applying lighter ones, which are a bit duller. And more neutral glades. You see what nice, pleasant snow is here. We can also emphasize this beautiful shoreline. Something darker will be on the other side, for example, something pink. We should always make sure that everything is pretty diverse. Darker, bluer, like this, over here. After that, I'm loading my brush with darker shades, 2 blue paints, plus a bit of brownish paint, and even pink. You see how winding and beautiful the river is. I'll remove all the hairs if they emerge, and of course some shrubs. Such pinkish spots. I'll build up a shrub here. And even over here in the foreground. Now I'll switch to warmer paint. Brown, plus yellow, and red. And with such spots, very vivid ones, even more pink will be used in this case. I'll add such vivid spots in the foreground. Look how unusual everything looks. Daring, bold. Now I'll take a thin brush and I'll begin forming such bushes out of them. Look how interesting and diverse they are. Their base will be more massive, heavy, and all the rest of the things will be rather spontaneous. We're scattering over these shades. The bushes shouldn't look uniform. With the same brush, I'll rinse it out well. I load my brush with lighter shades. Here are such shades of violet. From time to time, they are similar to pink. I'll place them like this. At the base, we'll place beautiful shadows. Such bluish, light blue shades. Of course, they're not extremely saturated. Everything has to be very delicate, very subtle. A bit more blue. And a bit lighter. In general, the foreground should be dark. The whole area is in the darkness. Now we'll take our extremely thin brushes. I'm gathering this blue-violet into a compact pile. Some medium. I load my brush with this paint. Now we have to add such bluish parts. Everything that is in the shadow. Somewhere we'll have more pink, somewhere, on the contrary, more blue. I'm switching to an even thinner brush. I load my brush with light shades. I'll add such transverse lines. Take a look. I have a thin brush and I'm moving it in this direction. Like this. 1, 2, 3. You see? Diagonally. In different diagonals. So we depict our bushes not only by moving upwards, but in this direction too, and in this one. This way, one part of the leaves will be sticking out upwards. Some will be bent aside, and some to the other side. Everything will look much better and diverse this way. Now I'll add more shades of pink. Pink cream. Right here. We can gather our paint into a compact pile again and load our brush with it. Like this. This way our brush will be covered with more paint. Apart from all that, you can add more variety here. Somewhere we can add more dark shades. More Madder Lake, for example, can be used. And we'll leave some fragments brownish. We'll refine this bush and actually smudge it, so that all these piles don't look the same. Apart from that, in order to add more variety to everything, I'll do the following thing. I'll bring this bush forward, like this. To make the bushes more varied and not uniform. I'm scattering some snow over. You see, this part is already extremely picturesque. We'll add variety to the base of these bushes. Now I'll add more white paint to show some lit areas. I'll take white. And we're highlighting lit areas here. Now I'm highlighting these areas with light paint. Here are such snowbanks. My brush is synthetic, very soft. Now with such bluish shades, I'll emphasize this shoreline. It's better to take an oval brush at this point. It's very handy for creating beautiful snow coverages near the river. On one side, and on the other too. Now I'll take a dark brush we'll add even violet shades to the foreground. Look at the way we're emphasizing these humps sloping downwards into the water. We're underlining it with a horizontal line, the darkness of the shoreline. And because of this contrast, we'll make our foreground very beautiful. I load my brush with dark shades for now. And then lighter ones. We can emphasize everything with lighter shades in the distance, but slightly darker than all the shades that were initially applied. Here is a very slight contrasting line, which is absolutely inconspicuous. Now let's add some details in the foreground. Here are such dark dents in the snow. We can see that they were walked over, and it looks beautiful. And now, of course, we have to work on the water too. Here is such a light blue shade. I'm applying it in the middle. My brushwork is horizontal at the moment. After that, we can smooth it out a little bit with our soft brush. And I'm laying down vertical strokes too. And then horizontal again. We'll apply more shades of pink and even yellowish. Right here. A bit more pink and yellow. Then a small amount of reddish brown. Over here. We're leaving some spots caused by the bushes. I'll smooth it out again. Here is such a covered area. And on the right side too. I'll even apply such pinkish shades here. And all these light yellows will be shifted a bit to the right. Here it's duller and more pink. We'll place more bushes in the foreground. We can even use such shades of red, red violet, I'm using my extremely thin brush at the moment. And here in the foreground. Such pink ochre. And more blue ones. We can add some details here. And in general, you can maneuver your brush around here by adding some fine details. We can unify some parts of the base. You see how interesting the darkened areas are. I'll underline this dark base. And also a small number of details. I'm gathering all the paint with my painting knife, like this, into a pile. And we can layer over some snowbanks at the top. such humps. We're doing the same on the other side. I'll make some shades of pink with a drop of violet. I'll add better lit parts to these shrubs. Look how voluminous, very snowy the shrubs are. In some parts, we'll cover the tops with lighter paint. Now we have to distribute some final accents the way we want to. For example, I can increase the volume over here. Apart from that, I'm adding some darkness, of course. I've added such tiny details. And over here too. Emphasizing the best lit areas. And this riverbank too. I'm making this bottom darker. And the top will be even lighter. Well, friends, it's time to finish today's painting. We got a beautiful frosty winter landscape. It's rich in various colors. It's truly colorful. It's gorgeous, but without anything extra. We have everything in moderation. You know what else I'd like to do? I want to work a bit more on this area. And I'll make the fragment behind it a bit more precise. And we'll plunge it all into the bushes. As we've already started modifying it, let me also darken this part. To place the shrub onto this plane. And now we're actually really done. Let's sum it all up. Our landscape has come out very nice. It's not difficult. We managed to do everything with a small amount of paint, but how lively and how interesting the painting is anyway. Let us know in the comments your impressions. I'm always curious to know how much you like or dislike the current subject. What was easy for you and what was on the contrary difficult? How close your final result is to the image you had in your head? How are you feeling now that you've finished this work? I think all of us can already feel the atmosphere of winter landscapes. Don't forget to join our incredible course on snow. It's really a fantastic course. I think many of you now, maybe even all of you, have already joined us. So if you're not with us yet, you're always welcome. We'll be glad to see you. Also, friends, please like our videos, be active on our channel. This way you can support us. And please share this video, write a comment. I'll be glad to see you in the next lesson. It will also be an enthralling experience for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there, and goodbye. See you soon.
If you want to study trees painting in more detail, you should definitely join our course, Landscape Elements Trees. During this course, you will learn how to paint trees from scratch to a professional level. On your screen, you can look through a detailed program of the course, while I will tell you all about it in a nutshell. So, our first class includes a very useful exercise. It's an integral part of the course. I'll teach you to distinguish the general shape of a tree, its tone, and color. This extremely important exercise will help you to paint various trees and make them truly different and natural. You can see a large number of elements: foliage, a tree crown, branches. Such numerous details can be confusing for a beginning artist. That's why I'll teach you how to apply easy, useful, and clear techniques so that you could learn how to distinguish the general shape of a tree and make it diverse. I also prepared a reference set that'll be of help when you will get down to your individual works and consolidate your knowledge. Another important topic is tree trunks. I'll teach you how to paint picturesque and beautiful tree trunks, how to apply interesting color combinations. I'll show you in detail what colors we opt for in the light and in the shade, in midtones and in reflexes. Covering this crucial topic will make your paintings look professionally done. On top of that, you'll learn a fast technique of branches painting. You can see how many details there are, and all of them can be created with only a few strokes. That's why it's important to know the technique of work itself. Besides, we'll cover the foreground and the background. I'll tell you how to avoid making your painting overloaded with details and how to make it truly natural and beautiful. Here is a reference picture we used as an example for this work, and you can look through all of them in your spare time. The next topic is snow. I'll tell you how to depict a beautiful snow, what shades can be applied in the light and in the shadow, in midtones, how to work with such a magnificent snowy atmosphere. The next topic is a classic tree that we all imagine when we hear a word tree. During this class, I'll show you some simple schemes in pencil. I'll teach you to distinguish the shapes of foliage and tree trunks and how to avoid common mistakes. The next topic is autumn. We will compose a beautiful autumnal palette. I'll tell you all about the colors that we will use and how to mix them to get pure, bright autumnal shades. We'll talk about the background, how to work with general spots and groups of objects, as well as how to work with the foreground and the details. Here is, by the way, the reference photo. And the final topic is a sparse forest. There are lots of details in such a forest, so I will show you how to find your way through them and see a general picture in this variety of leaves and branches. I'll teach you how to distinguish the background, the middle ground, and the foreground, as well as how to work with a large number of details. As a result, we'll get a whole and complete study of this kind. So, here at this page you can find all the details about the course in a nutshell. The course consists of 8 classes, and during these classes we will create such studies. We will cover different schemes of this type and discuss all the common mistakes a beginning artist can make. I will also show you the schemes of drawing fir trees and examples of various brushes, and will paint such cool studies that will serve you as a guidebook for your further individual work. What does the course look like in your personal account? You can see screenshots from your personal account. During our classes, a palette and a canvas are always visible. We also look through various references on a tablet. I always zoom in the details and show everything clearly. I also show how to work with different brushes, for instance, how to work with thin ones when painting minor details. And of course, here in the end are the results of our course. You can also see the works of our students here. They are absolutely thrilled by the course because it's very informative and contains all necessary information in short. No nonsense, no extra information. It's a 5-hour course filled with useful material. Please have a look at the results of our students. On top, you can see the studies that we were working on during our classes, and below are their individual works. Here are some other wonderful examples of works created during our classes and individually. Here you can see that our students managed to distinguish the general shape of a tree and paint various beautiful shapes. Look at these wonderful paintings of our students. I want to draw your attention to the fact that some of them are beginners. Nevertheless, the results are stunning. So, if you want to learn how to paint the same way, how to depict trees, I'm happy to welcome you to join our course. There are 2 options for the course application. You can pick the one that you like best. As of now, there is a special offer, so don't miss this chance. To apply for a course, you have to enter your email address right here, and then press a green button, Apply for a course. After that, following the instructions, you'll be able to pay for the course, and you will automatically get a payment notification as well as other instructions on how to start your studies. The course will be available in your personal account right after the purchase. If you have any questions, feel free to contact our support team, and I'll be patiently waiting for all of you on our course. I'll see you soon.